Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for tuning in. Much appreciated. We're getting ready for week number 11. It's been a strange season so far. Lots of upsets. I went 8-6 on my money lines. I went 6-8 on my over and unders as well as my spreads. So really struggling this year. It's been really a season of upset victories, and we saw plenty of them this past weekend. But before we get to week 11 and our predictions and touchdown parlays, do me a favor. Hit that like and subscribe button for me. Much appreciated, because this way I'm up close and personal throughout the season, the playoffs, and the Super Bowl. I really appreciate the viewership, and I would love that you leave your comments also as well. This way I know you guys are really paying attention to what's really going on. I'm trying to make you guys money. I'm trying to give you guys this edge for free. But somehow, some way, things are not working out the way we expected this season, okay? So after week 10 and after 10 weeks, we already know there are a lot of teams out there that are struggling offensively. Last night's game was an example between the Packers and the Eagles, where the Eagles won 10-7. The Packers offense has gone south. No Tucker Kraft. I told you in my previous video, losing Tucker Kraft would be a big loss for the Packers, and it showed last night as they lost 10-7. Anyway, let's get going. We're going to start off with the first game of this week. It's the Jets and the Patriots. Jets coming off yet another victory against the Cleveland Browns, where the special teams played excellent. Now they're going to be playing a Patriots team coming off a very impressive victory against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the road, legitimizing not just that their schedule was easy this year, but legitimizing the fact that, hey, we beat Buffalo, and now we beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Come on, take us seriously. Well, guess what? We are taking you seriously. Question is, are you going to take the Jets seriously? Because we all know in a strange season, things are happening kind of crazy. And with that spread of 11.5, you have to wonder if this is something that everyone's going to throw their money into, or they're going to take that plus 11.5. The way it's been going this season with Vegas and the sports books and the sports apps, they're teasing you into taking these points, right? And what happens is it's not turning out the way you expect it, right? So be careful with this minus 11.5. I'm going to personally take the minus 11.5. I just don't see that the Jets offense is going to keep up with the Patriots this Thursday night. I think it's going to be a full house. There's going to be excitement in the air. It's prime time. I think Mike Vrabel, who's an excellent disciplinarian, he's going to have his team ready for a game against the Jets. I really don't see the Jets winning this game. Guys, I know all the money's going to roll to the Patriots, and that's scary, because when that starts happening, what happens? I always said there's some funny business going on with Vegas and sports apps as well as sports books. And you got to remember, when you legalize sports betting and the NFL, strange things are happening. So this is a game that I caution a lot of viewers and a lot of sports bettors who are taking the Patriots and throwing all their money in, right? Me personally, I'm money lying the Patriots. How could the Patriots lose to a Jets team with no offense, right? Other than Breece Hall and maybe a Garrett Wilson, they really don't have much of an offense. I don't see them doing any better against this tough New England defense. I'm going to take the under 43.5. I just think that the the Patriots are going to put all the points up. I think the Jets might get a touchdown here and there, maybe a field goal. But I'm going to take that minus 11.5. I think it's legit. I think the Patriots should win this game by at least 14 points. Drake May is playing excellent. Looking for touchdowns in this game, it's going to be on the Patriots side, guys. If you're going to build the touchdowns parlay and you want to start off with this game, the Patriots, or you want to do a single game parlay, look for touchdowns from maybe Travion Henderson, maybe Hunter Henry. Okay, and being that the Jets secondary is depleted now without Sauce Gardner, they did, however, play a little better this past weekend. Maybe it's because it was the Cleveland offense, but maybe you want to take Stephon Diggs. He's been, Kayshon Boutte, Stephon Diggs, even Demario Douglas in there, right? You could throw him in there. Okay, as far as the Jets with touchdowns, Breece Hall's the only guy I'm going to trust. But let's move on, okay? Let's go with the Commanders at the Dolphins. Okay, this is going to be the early game on Sunday. Commanders are struggling, obviously. No quarterback. Jaden Daniels out for the year, I believe, with that dislocated elbow. So you got Marcus Mariota. He's not a bad quarterback. He's actually better, in my opinion, than Tua Tagovailoa, okay? Now, here's the thing that bothers me about this game between the Commanders and the Dolphins. Both these teams are very disappointing up to this point, right? You got the Commanders who were in the championship game last year in the NFC, and this year they came back, a lot of injuries, but they haven't been actually playing. Even when there wasn't injuries, they really weren't playing up to par. I think the loss of Jaden Daniels hurts them immediately, but also the loss of Terry McLaurin from the very beginning. I don't know if he's going to suit up for this game. And then they got running backs, back there, like Ja'Cory Merritt, or like he likes to call himself, Bill. Okay, he's a guy that if I was the Commanders, I would really base that offense around him. Okay, and maybe Debo Samuel, right? Zach Ertz. It's not like they're depleted, but they do have key injuries. They're losing a little bit of discipline. We saw that in last weekend's game against Detroit. I just think the Commanders, I believe they're the underdogs. Believe it or not, they're the underdogs because Miami miraculously beat the Buffalo Bills. That really hurt my parlay, and it hurt a lot of bettors out there. That was a game that was a blip on the radar and a blip on the schedule, and I'll tell you why. Tua is not that good of a quarterback, yet he played well enough to beat the Buffalo Bills. They have Devon A-Chain, fantastic running back, put him in the same category as James Cook, as well as Jonathan Taylor. They're that good. He's that good of a running back. They have a good wide receiver in Jalen Waddle. I don't know if Darren Wall is coming back. But Miami is one of those teams where you don't know what you're going to get week in, week out. You don't even know where the touchdowns are going to come from. I've always said the only two guys on Miami that I'm going to take as touchdown parlays. That's Jalen Waddle and Devon A-Chain. Those are the only two guys I would touch. On the Washington side, it's going to be Ja'Cory Merritt, Debo Samuel, and Zach Ertz, and that's it. And everything else is a guess who's going to get in that end zone. I know they got players like if I believe Jalen Lane. Okay, I know they got players like Luke McCaffrey. I don't know if he's going to play for Washington, but I'm a money line the Commanders here. I just don't think Miami's going to put a 2-game winning streak together. Not with Tua at quarterback. I think Washington, even though they're struggling on defense, is a much better team than the Miami Dolphins right now, especially on paper, right? I mean, this team basically depleted everybody from their team, and they were demoralized. But beating the Buffalo Bills, they looked like that was their Super Bowl. They played it like it, right? They destroyed Buffalo. They were in a locker room afterwards. Everyone saw that celebration. We're going to go with the Washington Commanders. The over and under in this game is 47.5. I'm going to take the under at 47.5, even though we saw a high-scoring game the previous week out there in Europe. And I'm going to take the plus 2.5, being that I don't know what Vegas was thinking, making the Commanders the underdog. Maybe they know something I don't know. They certainly have all year, right? We've been picking games that teams should not be losing. My goodness, and I'm struggling this season, and I'm sure there's a lot of sports bettors struggling this season. But we're going to take that plus 2.5, being that the Commanders are the underdogs. I'm going to roll with the Commanders. I'll be honest with you. I could easily have picked Miami, right? But I just don't think they could do it 2 in a row, not with Tua at quarterback. Let's move on. We have the Chicago Bears heading to the Minnesota Vikings. I'm checking my papers here, my notes. Okay, here's the problem I have. J.J. McCarthy kind of gave the Vikings a lift. Unfortunately, last week, a couple of throws that I questioned to Justin Jefferson, not making an effort. Okay, and I am going to question Justin Jefferson. And if he's hearing this, I think you should have made it more of an effort going up for the football on one of the interceptions. It was a terrible effort. I mean, JJ threw a long bomb and what looked like double coverage, and I get it. But he kind of embraced himself before jumping up, like he knew he was going to get popped. In my opinion, If Justin Jefferson had attacked the ball and went up, that's a catch. Justin Jefferson's is a talented wide receiver. But like I said, I'm not saying that football is rigged. I'm not saying that there's certain players out there that probably have money with friends and fantasy football or whatnot. But my goodness, that ball should have been caught. You could see the highlight yourself, guys. When you look at that interception, he braces himself before the ball even comes down, doesn't even make an effort to go up and catch it. I mean, that's what receivers are taught. Go to the high point of that football and get it. He didn't do it for his man. But anyway, with that said, Vikings got a good defense. Okay. This is a game that Chicago has to. I mean, they're 6-3, very impressive. But they beat a Giants team. They were losing that game. I don't think they go. To be honest, I don't think they could pull this game off at Minnesota. I think Minnesota is going to be ready. They need this game. They're a desperate football team right now. They need to put themselves in a position to try to make the playoffs. And this is one of those games where they can make that statement. For the Chicago Bears, they could make a statement too. Hey, if we beat Minnesota, we're in the driver's seat for the tiebreakers and whatnot. So this is going to be a great game. This is a tough bet. The last two games actually were tough bets that I was talking about. But this game's a tough bet. I am going to money line the Vikings simply because I think Brian Flores will have something for Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams has gotten better. Fantastic comeback against the Giants, but again, that was against the Giants. It was at home. They struggled a bit, and then Caleb got going in that second half. I'm going to take the over of 47.5. I think there'll be points aplenty. But I'm going to take the -3, obviously the field goal edge for the Minnesota Vikings there, right? They are the favorite coming into this game. It's at Minnesota. I like J.J. McCarthy, but he's getting a little bit inconsistent. It's because it's his first year at quarterback. It's also, I believe, his second game back. But he does give the Vikings a legitimate chance. This is a game where I think Jordan Addison, T.J. Hawkinson can get in the end zone. I'm not very big on that Chicago secondary. I think Chicago could be able to stop the run. But if you remember the first time around when the Vikings did beat them, they struggled against JJ. They struggled against Jordan Mason and Aaron Jones. So you could look for touchdown props for those guys. With the Chicago Bears, I think I would look for Roman Odunze. Seems like I struggle every weekend with his name, right? It's just so hard for me to pronounce, and no disrespect. I also think this is a Luther Burden game. It's one of those games where if he's not injured and let's say he's going to play in this game, I think this is one of those games where this is the guy that could come out of left field and play well. DJ Moore's waking up a little bit there. Colston Loveland like him. I think he's going to be the key to this. DeAndre Swift, okay. Kyle Montague. Those would be my touchdown preps. All right, let's move on to the next game. And again, this is a game that you should money line. Packers at the Giants. You got to take the Packers. Despite their offensive woes in the past 2 weekends, you still got to take the Packers here. The over of 44.5. I'm going to take the over, right? The over and under is at 44.5. I think the Giants will hang in there. I'm going to take the over now that they have a new coach. Brian Dable being fired. The offensive coordinator takes over. Mike Kafka, who's looking out for Jackson Dart's health as well, because Brian Dable, your quarterback has 4 concussions, and you continuously keep putting this guy out there to get hurt. This guy's a rookie. Will probably have CTE, God forbid, when he retires somewhere down the road. This is not a good situation for this young man. He takes on tacklers, puts his head down. Guy, you're not a fullback. You're a quarterback. Your team needs you for the near future. That's why they drafted you so high in the first round. So I'm a little worried about his health. I don't know if he's going to play. If it's Russell Wilson, it's the Packers all the way. If it's Jackson Dart, it's going to be a close game. That's why I'm taking that plus 7.5. I don't see anything good about the Packers offense. The defense is probably what's going to win you the game. Micah Parsons continues to be a dominant defensive player. They got good defensive secondary. I just think the Packers defense is doing their job. The Packers offense is not. I think this is an offense that needs to get back to the Josh Jacobs doing most of the work. He's also my touchdown prop for this weekend, as well as Romeo Dobbs. As far as the Giants, I mean, if Russell Wilson starts, it could be Wan'Dale Robinson, it could be Devin Singletary, but I'm not really high on these guys at all. So again, money line the Packers, take the over 44.5, like maybe 26-21 type of game, take the plus 7.5. Let's move on to the next game. And we got ourselves two teams that fit the description very well of Jekyll and Hyde. It's the Panthers. All right. They'll be traveling to the Atlanta Falcons. Two Jekyll and Hyde teams. I don't even know how the Falcons lost that game last week in Europe. They had that game in hand, and Jonathan Taylor took over. There was just brutally a lot of mistakes by the Falcons. And Michael Penix and Kyle Pitts are just not on the same page. Kyle Pitts is just struggling. I mean, it's a disappointment because he's such a talented tight end. He's just struggling. I mean, he was wide open on one play where he looked like he had 30 yards in front of him, and he just completely drops the ball. This is just a bad game in general. It is also under a tough bet. If the Falcons want to get to the playoffs, they got to win this game. The Panthers, they're Jekyll and Hyde all the way. How do you lose to the Saints? Like I said, Vegas is funny. Are the games rigged? Or is the season rigged? Let me tell you something. For sports bettors out there, it's mind-boggling to see teams losing to bad teams. Now, the Panthers, before the season started, I thought the Panthers were going to be a bad team. I think I had them down for 5 wins. Well, guess what? They're playing like it right now. One week they're good. Next week they suck. Straight up, I'm not a Bryce Young fan. Put him in the same category as Tua. And Michael Penix, you got to get better. You're inconsistent. You're high, you're low. Some of your balls are, I mean, guys are wide open in the end zone. You had Kyle Pitts in the end zone last weekend, and you underthrew it. Got to give your players a chance, guy. So I'm going to money line the Falcons here simply because they're the more talented team, I think. But you can either go with the Panthers because they're both Jekyll. This is what I'm going to call the Jekyll and Hyde Bowl. This is the Jekyll and Hyde Bowl between the Falcons and the Panthers. Touchdown props. I still don't understand why Bijan Robinson doesn't get more carries. This guy should be touching the ball at least 35 times a game. Just like the Colts do with Jonathan Taylor. This is your Jonathan Taylor. I believe that the way they're using Bijan Robinson is the reason the Falcons are struggling. That's your main guy. That's my touchdown maker. Second touchdown maker, I think Kyle Pitts might get in the end zone. He might make up for his terrible game against the Colts. Okay. I'm not a big Michael Penix fan. Drake London is another touchdown prop doing very well. As for the Panthers, I'm going to stick with in a game like this where the corners for the Falcons are decent, I'm not going to go with the wide receivers, even though Ted McMillan and Xavier Leggett are getting better. But it's the guy who's throwing them the football. Very inconsistent. This could be an Andy Dalton game where he gets back in as the quarterback because Bryce Young is he's another Tua. And it's so funny that they both come from Alabama. Incredible. So I'm not a big fan of this guy. Touchdown props, Rico Dowdle, obviously, right? And that's it, guys. We're going to money line the Falcons. You could go either way, the Jekyll and Hyde Bowl. I'm going to go with the under of 42.5. Could be a 17 or 13 game. Could be that, or it could be a high-scoring game. It's just one of these games. I'm a plus 3.5 on this. All right, I believe the Panthers will hang around. It's going to be a good game because they both are Jekyll and Hyde teams. That's what's going to make it a good game. Let's move on. All right, we got the Chargers at the Jaguars. This is another tough bet, guys. We saw the Chargers. This is how weird the NFL is. Colts blow out the Chargers. Steelers blow out the Colts. Chargers blow out the Steelers. All in 3 consecutive weeks. That's the way the season's been going so far. This is why I think the NFL is a little bit funny here. A money line the Jaguars, risky. You could go with the Chargers, but this is risky, and I'll tell you why. The over and under is at 43 and a half. I'm gonna take the over. I think the Jaguars are gonna have to keep up with Justin Herbert because he has a plethora of wide receivers, great talent, no offensive line, but he's still getting the job done, and he certainly did it against the Steelers. Despite that, I'm gonna take the plus 2.5 because in this game, believe it or not, the Jaguars are the underdogs, so I'm taking that plus 2.5. The thing that scares me about this Jaguars game is the fact that you got Trevor Lawrence at quarterback. I'm not blaming him for the loss last weekend against the Texans, 29-10, 29-10, and you lost that game. Your defense let you down. They lost to a backup quarterback with 93 yards to go, but it doesn't matter. I think the Jaguars are going to beat the Chargers because that's the way the NFL season's been going. I'm money line the Jaguars. I'm taking the over and under 43 and a half. And I'm taking the plus 2.5 because the Jaguars are the underdog. Several key things to look at. The Steelers got to Justin Herbert 5 times with that depleted offensive line. Herbert played magnificently, picking his spots. Labaconke, Quentin Johnson. Don't know the stats of Aronde Gatson. I really love him at tight end. You have Vidal at running back. This is a game where they're going to have to run the ball and keep that Jaguars offense out of the field. It's not because they're a deadly offense, because they're very inconsistent as well. Trevor Lawrence has to play better. If you're going to beat the Chargers, you have to play better. And this is a game that has playoff implications down the road. So you're going to have to beat the Chargers. You got Brian Thomas. You got Travis Etienne. Parker Washington is turning out to be a fantastic tier 2 wide receiver. So this is a game where Trevor Lawrence has to step up. I'm not big on Trevor Lawrence, never was a Trevor Lawrence fan, but this is a game he has to step up. I'm money line the Jaguars, and I think touchdown props will come from either Brian Thomas, okay, or it's going to come from Travis Etienne, okay? Now, Parker Washington's another guy I would take as a touchdown prop. As far as the Chargers, just pick any wide receiver. You could go with Keenan Allen. You could go with Quentin Johnson, Labaconke. And Vidal's good for a touchdown prop. This could be a high-scoring game here. Disappointing, defeated Jaguars loss to Houston was disappointing in itself. Don't know how that happened. It really ruined a lot of people's parlays, and people lost money throughout America. So that's how I stand with this game. You could go with the Chargers, you could go with Jaguars, whatever. I'm taking the Jaguars because that's the way the season's been going so far. Next, we got, and I'll tell you what, guys, you got the Cincinnati Bengals going into Pittsburgh, revenge game for the Steelers. I don't know. I didn't see anything offensively that the Steelers are capable of putting 14 points. I don't know what I saw against the Los Angeles Chargers. I really don't know what I saw. The defense held their ground for almost 3 quarters. If anyone saw the game, the defense actually played well. So this would be 2 consecutive weeks where the defense has played well, but they got no support from the offense. And now they're going to play a team that beat them earlier this year behind an impressive Joe Flacco. You got Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, touchdown props right there. Chase Brown, another touchdown prop. These guys scorched that defense a few weeks ago. Bengals want to stay in the hunt. They still feel we're in the playoff hunt somehow. Joe Burrow might come back. That's the story that's been coming up. He might come back. The problem with the Bengals, that defense just sucks. There is nothing good to write about. They're going into this game knowing if we put up 30, we have a chance to win because we don't think the Steelers are going to put up 30. Not after last week's performance. However, my gut instinct, my trusting of my eyes, it's a revenge game. It's a rivalry. I don't know how it's a rivalry when the Steelers have been dominating. Steelers, money line, over. Obviously, we're going to go the over 50 and a half. I think the Steelers offense is going to look great somehow. And they're going to pull off a miracle here. I'm taking that plus 5.5 with Cincinnati. I'm not, listen, I'm money line the Steelers, but I'm not really confident. And I'm a Steelers fan. And I'm telling you, I'm not confident about this game. Not after what I saw against the Chargers. Come on. That's terrible football. They only got one wideout. They had the trade deadline to get another wideout. They didn't do it. So they got 4 tight ends running around like slot receivers and one wide receiver that gets double covered every play. If Cincinnati looks at the film against the Chargers, they're going to do the same type of defense. I think this is really a game I would stay away from, but I'm taking the Steelers, the over 50 and a half, and the plus 5.5 touchdown props. Like I said, DK, Jalen Warren. For Cincinnati, plethora of guys. I mean, they just score all over the place. Jamal Chase, Higgins, Noah Fant, Chase Brown, you name it. Pick 'em, choose. Next game. Got the Buffalo Bills. Okay, they're going to get Tampa Bay's going to travel to Buffalo. Tough loss for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Defense just didn't show up against the run. I had the Buccaneers to win that game. That was a tough bet, and I lost. That was a tough beat. That nonsense that happened before the half where Mike Vrabel was trying to run out time, I'm not buying into it. Football, since sports betting's been involved, it's kind of strange. If that was the Super Bowl, you always kick the field goal. It doesn't matter how much time you got, whatever. If that was the Super Bowl before the half, you kick the field goal. Because let me tell you something, touchdowns are not guaranteed. So I don't know what Mike Vrabel was thinking. And Tony Romo, you're a shit announcer to even say that Mike Vrabel was intelligent. Oh, what a brilliant move by Mike Vrabel. We're going to talk about that later. Anyway, I'm at money line the Bills. They're going to rebound from a horrible, horrible loss against the Miami Dolphins. What was that? You beat the Chiefs and you come back and lay an egg. Thanks a lot. I mean, you ruined every sports bettor out there. That was just a horrible, horrible loss. Now you're going to have to rebound and beat the Buccaneers. Don't get up for the Buccaneers. Am I safe with this? Picking money line the Bills, taking the over 49.5 and taking that plus 5.5? Even though Buffalo, which is so funny, Buffalo's favorite for this game. I don't know what Vegas is doing. So, I mean, Baker Mayfield's a gamer. I like him. Touchdown props for Emeka Egbuka. Kate Otten in this game, maybe. I don't know if Bucky Irving's coming back, Rashad White, Tez Johnson, Cameron Johnston, or Sterling Shepard. You have a whole bunch of guys. Same with Buffalo. You got James Cook, Dalton Kincaid, Shaquille Khalil. You got, who's the other kid? Keon Coleman. You got to get in the end zone. What's going on? I mean, your season is horrible, horrible. But I'm going to take the Bills. You could have gone with the Buccaneers. I'm going to take that plus 5.5. I think if the Buccaneers hang around, there's a good chance that Baker Mayfield might pull a rabbit out of his hat in this game. And he's capable of doing that. So Josh Allen, beware. Okay, so Buffalo, disappointing loss last weekend. Maybe they'll rebound, help out some sports bettors. Okay, let me pause this for a second while I show you my whiteboard. All right, guys, I showed you the whiteboard, doing it a little bit differently. Normally, I show it at the end, but today I just wanted to get it out there early so you guys can copy it, run to your sports books, your casinos, your local casinos and local sports books, as well as getting it on. Remember, these are your early lines that I'm getting from FanDuel, okay? I get those early lines on my apps and I put them out there, especially when the game's over on Monday night. I start immediately scrambling to see if there's any updates. But so that's where I'm getting these early lines from, okay? Let's go to the next game. I believe we're now up to the Texans game, okay? We have the Texans at the Titans. Guys, again, This is one of those games where I always say to you guys, be careful because all the money's going to roll to the Texans. Fantastic defense. Great comeback last week against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Um, Maybe Davis Mills did the Texans service by saving their season. They're 4-5, I believe, right now. They're going to be playing the Titans. I won't call that an easy victory, but I am going to moneyline the Texans. I am going to take the over and under. I'm going to take the under of 39.5 because I don't think there's going to be that many points scored. I don't know if CJ Stroud's coming back. And I'm going to take that plus 7.5 because it's a rivalry game within the division, right? Divisional games always play out differently, but I'm going to take that plus 7.5. Touchdown props, I think Woody Marks, Nico Collins, okay? I don't know if CJ Stroud's going to play, but if Davis Mills plays, I like what I saw in that second half and in that fourth quarter. That was excellent. Great work by Davis Mills. As for the Titans, I always stay away from teams like this when it comes to touchdown props because you don't know where that ball's going to go. Tony Pollard, okay, that's the only guy I have confidence in getting in the end zone. And this is a tough Texans team, one of the best in the league. I put them in the same category with the Eagles and the Packers, okay, with defense, okay. So we're going to money line the Texans. We're going to take the under of 39.5, and we're going to take that plus 7.5. Let's move on. Not much to talk about in that game. Okay, the next game we got is probably the game of the weekend, guys. The game of the weekend, no doubt about it. The Seattle Seahawks are going to travel to the LA Rams. I love this game. And you could go either way with money line this game. You could either go with the Seahawks or the Rams, and I know there's a lot of people out there saying you got to take Seattle because of their defense, because they got offensive weapons. Absolutely. But I'm taking the Rams. That's just me because why? Look at the way the season's been playing out, right? Look at the way the season's been playing out. All right? All the money right now is going to be evened out. It's going to be 50-50. So Vegas is not going to screw with this game, all right? These are games that are tough bets. Vegas is not going to screw with this game because they're getting even money, okay? So I'm money line the Rams. I'm going to take the over and under 48.5. We're going to go with the over. I think there will be lots of scoring in this game. And I believe the Rams are the favorite in this game. Kind of funny business by Vegas. So we're going to take that minus 2.5 because, like I always say, field goal edge goes to the home team. And I like that minus 2.5. You got to jump on it, right? I think the Rams do win by field goal, like 27-24. Could be 31-28 type of game. They have offensive weapons. Listen, pick and choose your touchdown parlays with both these teams, right? You got Jackson Smith-Njigba, right? You got Rashid Shaheed now. You got Kenneth Walker. You got Zach Charbonnet for Seattle, along with A.J. Barner, right? You got a whole bunch of players. Same with the Rams, Devontae Adams, Puka, Kyron Williams, right? Blake Corum. Pick any of the tight ends. This is going to be a high-scoring game. At least I think, I think Seattle improved their defense. I think the Rams have to win this game if they have any chance to win the division. They're going to have to beat Seattle. This is a tough bet. This is also slash either team, Rams or Seahawks. I'm taking the Rams only because they're the favorites in the game, which is so funny how Vegas made them the favorites. What? But anyway, that's how I'm going to roll with. Let's go with the next game. And speaking of which, you have the 49ers going to the Cardinals. Everything says money line of 49ers, right? Cardinals, they're struggling at the quarterback position. You don't know if you're going to get Kyler Murray or Jacoby Brissett. Okay, the performance against Seattle was disgusting, straight out disgusting. I mean, yeah, they had a little bit of fight, but Seattle just blew them out the water early. I think it was 35-zip before Arizona even saw the end zone. Disappointed in the inconsistencies of their wide receivers. I really don't like their wide receiver room. First of all, outside of Marvin Harrison Jr., who do you have? Michael Wilson? Zay Jones? These aren't household names. Dortch? Outside of Marvin Harrison, their best receiver is Trey McBride, the tight end. He's a touchdown prop I would take in this game. Okay? Amari DiMarcado, Michael Carter, I don't care who the running back is. It's just not. I mean, DeMarcado shows flashes, but I don't like this game at all because it's at Arizona. And it is an inter-rivalry game. It's a divisional rivalry. And the Cardinals always played the 49ers tough, right? They should have won that game in San Francisco early in the year, but that quarterback, the coach had a brain fart towards the end and left time on the clock for the 49ers to get that last second field goal. I don't like this game at all. I think the Cardinals are going to rebound, play better defense, but I don't think they after getting blown out the way they did, I'm not trusting Harrison. I'm going to go with the 49ers. But the 49ers, if they start Brock Purdy, I don't know if he will even play the rest of the season. I don't even know what's going on there. There is a quarterback controversy going on with Mac Jones, who plays better, plays hurt and better. So if he is the starter, I look for the 49ers. I'm money lying them. I'm looking him to play better. George Kittle, McCaffrey will probably get in the end zone. Kendrick Bourne, Jawan Jennings, right? Those are your touchdown props. I already spoke about the props on the Cardinals. Just take McBride at this point. The inconsistency of the Cardinals is why I'm rolling with the 49ers. Money line the Niners. Take the over and under, taking the under of 48.5. And I think the game's going to be close, but I think the 49ers will win this game. You know, too many injuries on the 49ers makes this game close. Take the -3. All right, let's go to the next game. We have the Kansas City Chiefs at the Denver Broncos. Another solid game for this weekend. Chiefs had some time, right, from their last game. This is a game Chiefs have to win this game. They're on a roll. They have to find a way to win this game. Another loss, and you're looking for a wild card position. They could still be looking for a wild card position. I think Denver Broncos are getting by with last second field goals, last second heroics, stuff like that. I'm not saying they're a bad team because they have one of the best defenses in the league. I put them up there with the Texans, the Packers, and the Eagles, one of the best defenses in the league. That's why they're hanging around every game. The offense is inconsistent. I'm not trusting Bo Nix. He's a good quarterback, but he has a lot of talent around him, and for some reason, it's not producing the points I'm looking for. You have Cortland Sutton. You have Troy Franklin, Marvin Mims. You got Evan Ingram, R.J. Harvey, J.K. Dobbins. There's a lot of weapons, and yet the offense looks like it's just getting by. So they're struggling off. I put them in the same category as the Packers. They're just struggling on offense. I don't understand. A lot of inconsistency with Bo Nix and a lot of comeback victories too, as well as just eking out a win. You can't do that with the Kansas City Chiefs. That's why I'm going to roll with the Chiefs on the money line. That's why I'm going to take the over of 44.5. And that's why I'm taking the plus 3.5 because for some reason, Vegas has the Chiefs as the favorite. Does Vegas know what I don't know? But even before that, I was going to take the Chiefs anyway to win this game. Just too many weapons. Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice, Isaiah Pacheco, Kareem Hunt, Travis Kelce, Noah Gray, Juju Smith, Marquise Brown. As good as the defense Denver is, I think Denver could hold them. If Denver could keep them under 20, they could probably win this game. But the Chiefs' defense is not bad. They do give up points, but they're not a bad defense. They have a solid secondary. And this is why I think the Denver Broncos are going to struggle. I think they hit a wall this week. I think they come back a little bit down to earth and say, hey, we got to fix this offense. I think the Chiefs are going to come out. They're going to do a variety of plays. They'll probably put up the first points of this game. Touchdowns from both these teams got guys you could, and I named them. All right, I named the guys that both these teams have. You could pick either one for touchdown parlays. All right, just pick and choose who you want to roll with. But it's going to be a tough bet, but I'm money lying the Chiefs on this. All right, let's get to the next game. We got the Baltimore Ravens at the Browns, guys. Come on, no brainer, right? We're all money lying the Ravens. All the money's going there. It's just the over and under I'm having a problem with. It's 41.5. this is one of those games where it's a rivalry game. You want to take the under, right? I think most of the points are coming from the Ravens. I'm looking like maybe 35 to 10 type of game. I think 10 points will come towards the end for Cleveland. Um, that's why I'm going to take the over of 41.5. I think Vegas is trying to play head games, try to even out that money somehow. But I am going to take that plus. you know, I said 35 to 10, but yeah, I want to take that plus 8.5. And I'll tell you why. Even though I'm going to take the over, even though I do see the Ravens maybe winning this game by 10, and it's just, they put it out there. And Myles Garrett, the last time Cleveland played Baltimore, Myles Garrett was in the backfield. If Myles Garrett, and Cleveland has a good defense, I'm not blaming that loss on Cleveland last weekend against the sorry Jets. I'm blaming that loss on their special teams. But if Myles Garrett and that defense could get a couple of turnovers, and I'm sure they will, they've always played Lamar Jackson tough. That's why I'm taking that plus 8.5. Touchdown props for Cleveland. I would be looking at maybe Jerry Jeudy, and I don't know if Quinshon Judkins is going to play, but what's that kid, Fanini, the tight end, right? Look for him. Okay, for the Ravens, you could probably get a rushing touchdown from Lamar Jackson. Zay Flowers always plays good against Cleveland. Maybe Rashad Bateman or something. Mark Andrews, Charlie Kolar, Derrick Henry. That's where your props will come from. Let's move on to the next game, and we got a dandy. We got the Detroit Lions on a Sunday night visiting the Philadelphia Eagles, coming off a defensive battle against the Packers, where they just got one touchdown and it was enough to beat the Packers. Okay, 10-7 there. Yikes. Detroit has a lot of offensive weapons. You could pick any of these players for touchdown props. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Seems like Jameson Williams is waking up. You got Sam Laporta. You got the two running backs of Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. Okay, as for the Eagles, we always go with the tush-push Jalen Hurts. We got Saquon Barkley. I can't trust their wide receivers, but if I had to trust a receiver that could get downfield and get a touchdown, it would be Dallas Goedert. Now, with that said, who am I rolling with? The team that I just saw play a good defensive ball game has a solid defense now with the additions of those 3 trades they made and ended up getting Jalen Phillips. All right. They upgraded their secondary too with Zaire Alexander to go with Quinshon Mitchell. This is a solid defensive ball club. However, they're going to go up against a real good test. I don't think the Packers were a good test. They were missing players with Tucker Kraft being out. Now they're going to face Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Tyner. I mean, this offense, they got a plethora of weapons. All right, I love using that word. They got weapons. I'm a money line the Lions. I think the Eagles are going to get taken back. Okay, the Lions are the underdog in this game. That's why I'm going to take the plus 1.5. The over and under of 48.5, we're going to go over. I think the Eagles aren't that bad on offense. They did play a solid defensive team. The Packers are a better defense than the Detroit Lions. Let's just face it, folks. That's the truth, and that's the facts. I think the Eagles are going to have to run Saquon. This is a Saquon Barkley game. Keep the Detroit offense off the field. I think Saquon is going to get the majority. Yet another game where A.J. Brown doesn't know if he's alive. Devontae Smith seems to be the guy that Jalen Hurts is favoring now. Dallas Goedert and Saquon Barkley type of game. For the Detroit Lions, you have to find ways to get in the end zone. This is a tougher defense. Okay, this is a tougher defense. A good defense that could put pressure on Jared Goff. You got to find ways to get in the end zone, guys. So if Detroit could get up on them early, they have a chance. But if the Eagles are hanging in there at the end, at home, then the Eagles. This is also a slash game tough bet. You could go with either the Lions or the Eagles. Okay? But I'm taking the Lions as my money line. All right, final game. We're going to go to Monday night. really, I don't know if I'm going to stay up to watch this game, but I probably will because that's who I am. I'm a sports bettor and I always have money going on every game. Cowboys are going to be traveling to Las Vegas Raiders. Okay, here's the thing. Cowboy season is still up in the air. We don't know if they're good enough to be in the playoffs, but they are fighting for wild card contention. Thanks to Minnesota losing last week, thanks to a couple of teams losing last week, the Cowboys are still technically alive, mathematically alive. They got a good offense. And the Raiders, their defense is Max Crosby. That's it. Maybe a couple of players in the secondary like Jamal Adams and that other kid, Palomalo. Okay, not Troy, but there's another kid back there with a similar name. It's spelled differently, but a similar name. I think Dak Prescott with George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, those are touchdown props. Javonte Williams, okay, another touchdown prop. Jake Ferguson. I just think they have enough weapons to beat a really depleted Raiders defense. I mean, other than Max Crosby, this defense does not impress me. And you're not going to try to stop a team that can score 30 or 35 points a game. The good news for the Raiders is that their offense is not that good. But they are going to look good on Monday night against that really bad defensive unit of the Cowboys. They did upgrade it with the trade of Quinnen Williams. They do have Logan Wilson. Okay, they do have players there that can make an impact, right? Kenny Clark, right? But I don't know why. Maybe Matt Eberflus, if that's his name, no disrespect, defensive coordinator. Don't know why he can't put it together on defense for this club. Just a poorly coached defensive unit. This is why teams always end up winning against Dallas. Dallas has an offense that if you put them up against the Chiefs, they score points. Okay? I put them up there. I put their offense up there with the Chiefs, the Bills, okay, the Lions, but their defense is horrible. Oh my God. I put them in the same category as the Bengals, unfortunately, the Steelers, because they just get torched. Geno Smith is not a consistent quarterback. Brock Bowers is their best player on offense. Ashton Gianti, nothing spectacular yet. He's getting yardage, but it's nothing spectacular. I don't know if he's just not being coached right. No matter what, we're going to moneyline the Cowboys. We're taking the over 50.5, and we're going to take that minus 3.5. The Cowboys are the favorite for this game. And that's so unfortunate for Raider fans. Anyway, let me pause this tape. Let me put the whiteboard up, and let me get to this whiteboard. Okay, guys, thank you for being patient while I put up that whiteboard. Hope you guys copy down what I'm putting up and listened to everything I have told you guys. I do my homework on my laptop, okay? I try to give you every edge for free. I try to help you guys out by betting small, winning big. But I want to speak on, in general, about what's really happening around the NFL. And this is I'm gonna piggyback what's going on with the NBA and baseball. If you have been in another planet and haven't heard, you had an NBA scandal involving illegal betting, whether it was poker or putting money on games, whatnot. Funny business going on since sports betting began, right? Since sports betting was legalized, I should say. The NFL, Major League Baseball, and the NBA are all tied into sports betting. They all get a money and a percentage out of it. Okay, so it's always based on money. And I'm being serious about this. And I know it sucks to talk about it because I know there's a lot of NFL fans that don't want to believe that this is rigged. But I'm gonna tell you something. It's becoming entertainment like wrestling. These games, when I watch, they look real funny. I mean, I told you about that, Justin Jefferson bracing himself instead of going up and making a catch. And then there's fumbles happening where guys ain't even making an effort to try to recover the fumble, like a fumble. And then, look, the NBA had their scandal. And then just recently, baseball had that scandal with the Cleveland Guardians pitchers where they were betting on first pitch, thousands of dollars, whether or not you throw a strike or a ball, and they were purposely like if he was going to throw a strike, okay, but if he threw it on the ground or whatnot, he was going to get like 5,000, and they would like purposely throw it to the ground, something like that. I don't. They do have videos of it. This is really happening, guys. Don't think that the players out there. Okay, don't think that there are NFL players out there. We had a couple, Calvin Ridley, Isaiah Rodgers. They're still playing in the NFL. But back then they were betting or no in sports. You should be banned from the game. But see what's going on now, and I'm noticing it. These games are getting funny. You had the Buffalo Bills lose to the Miami Dolphins. Did you see that one coming, guys? You had the Steelers play like shit the other night. Did you see that one coming? You had the Cleveland Browns lose to the New York Jets. Did you see that one coming? Or maybe the week before when the Jets won against Cincinnati. Guys, there are funny things happening. Last night, at the end of the game, the Green Bay Packers had a kicker that couldn't make a 64-yard field goal. Understandably, he had a hamstring pull or something. Did you know? Excuse me. Did you know they also had another kicker on the sideline? I keep forgetting the guy's name, but you could look it up. They had a kicker who suited up for that game, who could kick that same kick and was healthier than Brandon McManus, who could have made that kick for Green Bay last night. Don't understand why the coach didn't do that. It's almost like they wanted to lose that game. And speaking of which, we're going to go back and talk about that New England before the half touchdown. Stephon Diggs scored a touchdown with 2 seconds left on fourth down from the Tampa Bay goal line. Okay, cool. Looks normal. You know what wasn't normal? I believe there was like a minute or something in change, or 55 seconds. I'm getting a little confused. It was first and goal. Drake May takes the snap and takes a knee. Literally. It looked kind of funny when I saw it because I was like, wait a minute, why isn't he pushing himself like it looked like it was going to be a tush push, like a quarterback sneak into the end zone. He could have had it. It was there. He went to the left a little bit and took a weird knee. Like it was like, okay, I got the ball, but I'm going to slowly dip one knee into the ground. First down, no touchdown. Clock still running. Second down, get stopped. Running back. Clock still running. Third down, same thing. And I believe with 2 seconds left, I believe the Patriots had called the timeout. Normally, a brilliant coach, not Vrabel, a brilliant coach. I don't know what Tony Romo was talking about, because Tony, if you knew that could be a brilliant play, try that in the Super Bowl. How did that work out for you with that field goal against Seattle in the playoffs? Did you think that was brilliant? The Patriots, according to Romo, did something brilliant. They ran down the clock to not give the Buccaneers a chance before they have to score, and took a knee on first and goal, managed to get stopped the next two plays, and then finally call a timeout, and with 2 seconds left, managed to get a touchdown to Stephon Diggs. Let me just say a couple of things. Touchdowns are not guaranteed in the NFL or any sport, whether it's high school, college, they're not guaranteed. When it's first and goal, you get in there. If this was the Super Bowl, I wonder what the mindset would have been. Oh, kick the field goal. We'll go to the half tied. Now, regardless of what I'm saying, the Patriots still managed to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers convincingly. Yes, convincingly. They had a good running game. Travion Henderson was wonderful. In fact, when they got the ball back in the second half, that first drive, touchdown, boom, Travion Henderson down the sidelines or up the middle, whatever you call it. The problem I'm having with sports betting now is we're all struggling this year. It's so obvious and evident what's going on, right? With the storyline, with the field goals, the special teams units. It was getting funny, guys. It was getting funny. And now we're seeing more of it. Come on, Buffalo losing to Miami. This Mike Vrabel thing, calling him brilliant. What was Tony Romo in on it? Did Mike Vrabel and the NFL say, "Hey, listen, when you guys get down there and before the half, there's going to be a situation where it's going to be first and goal. Do yourself a favor and score with 2 seconds left. Don't score immediately. Just because for some weird reason, Tony Romo, yes, the Tony Romo, calls Mike Vrabel a genius. I didn't see it coming. What a brilliant play! In fact, in the second half, Trevion Henderson is running down the sidelines at the end of the game. It's like 2 minutes left or something change. And he's running, right? They got the game in hand now. So as he's running, he's saying to himself, which is a smart, and now you could call it brilliant by the football player. Do I take a knee and run out the clock, end the game, whatnot? Shows that he's not a selfish player. Good for him. He points as he's running. You see it on a highlight. He's running and he points to the coach. Hey, coach, should I score? Should I go in the end zone or should I take a knee? Obviously, the coach was like, yeah, score, whatever. Didn't matter. They had the game in hand. They were destroying the Buccaneers at that point. But it's so funny that play and then the play before the half ends is what I question. And as a sports bettor, listen, the guy that scored was on my touchdown parlay, Stephon Diggs. So at least I got him. So I was happy. What I wasn't happy about was the events that were going on. That's not a brilliant play, Tony Romo. And regardless, I love Mike Vrabel as a coach. He's a disciplinarian. And he changed that franchise. Probably for the next 5-6 years, this franchise will probably be now going to the playoffs. I wasn't expecting them in the playoffs this year, but it seems like they're trending towards that. But don't call Mike Vrabel brilliant. Please do not make him a genius. He hasn't won a Super Bowl yet. He did well in Tennessee, had playoff teams. But until that man wins a Super Bowl, we could call him a genius. There are plenty of coaches out there that would have never done that. Okay, and I know there's a lot of New England fans right now saying you don't know what you're talking about, blah, 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 blah. Listen, this is the same guy that said that Tom Brady made Bill Belichick. You can look up the records where Belichick was before. Great defensive coordinator with the Giants, won Super Bowls there. Goes to Cleveland, gets rid of a franchise quarterback in Bernie Kosar. Didn't know what to do with Vinny Testaverde. Couldn't win a freaking playoff game. I think he did. I think he beat New England or something, which is so funny, so weird. But he wasn't winning until he got that franchise quarterback in Tom Brady, because when he went up to New England, he had a franchise quarterback and Drew Bledsoe couldn't win with him. Tom Brady comes along, kid works hard, wins you about 8 Super Bowls, 7 Super Bowls. I don't know how many he won over there, but he won a lot. All of a sudden, Belichick's a genius. Belichick. Remember that? Spygate? So now, you're going to call Mike Vrabel a genius? Even Belichick would have kicked a field goal there. Belichick would have kicked a field goal. If you're so sure that you could score a touchdown against any NFL team, against a tough Tampa Bay Buccaneer defense that has Vita Vea, this big human, looks like he's 500 pounds in the middle of that, you're that confident? Really, Vrabel? Can you explain the confidence you had in your team to say, hey, guys, we got a minute left. It's first and goal. Don't try to get into the end zone. We don't want the Buccaneers to get the ball back. I get it. Baker Mayfield, Abuka. They have a plethora of weapons that they could go downfield, maybe get a field goal, whatnot. I get that. But you still got to try to get that touchdown on first and goal. You still got to try to get that touchdown on second and third and goal. To call a timeout, to take a chance like that. When on first and goal, it looked like Drake May had a clear path into the end zone. And he slowly takes the knee. This is what we're dealing with as sports bettors. This is why I lose in a weird way every weekend. I went 8-6 on a money line. One of the worst records I've had since I think there was another week I went 7-7. Games are not playing out the way they should. The easy victories are now not a sure thing. Touchdowns by players I never heard of. Hunter Lepke from Dallas. Who is this guy? Where did he come from? There are players getting touchdowns this year I never heard of. I can't even pronounce some of these names. Okay? And when you're picking a touchdown parlay and you have like 3 players on that parlay that you think are gonna score for you, and some chump comes off the practice squad, or a guy who never thought he'd be in an NFL game in his life scores a touchdown, that's very discouraging and disappointing. Especially when you have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars riding on the guy that's supposed to score. I remember in the Denver game, oh man, a couple of weeks ago, I think they were playing the Giants, and I think I had Adam Trotman, the tight end, to score. And I believe the other tight end scored. I don't know. But it's stuff like that. It's stuff like that. Like, I think it was the same game, too, in which Hunter Lemke scored, where Jake Ferguson was the guy I was looking for to score. Now, I understand he's probably was covered, whatever, but this was a fullback that came out of the backfield. I don't think there was even film on this guy. And he scores a touchdown. And you just sit there and you go, okay, I did the homework. I'm trying to give my fans an edge for free. Guys, this is important for me to talk about because there's a lot of viewers out there that probably saw the same thing I saw. That Buccaneers Patriots game tells me everything I need to know about sports betting, going hand in hand with the fix that's in. Vegas puts out these early lines. Come on, you saw the whiteboard. You saw the Rams are favored over Seattle. I thought it was the other way around. That's why I took the Rams to money line, because I thought they were the underdogs, and then to find out later, no, they're the favorites. I might lose this bet now. I mean, the underdogs are kicking ass this year. The Saints go to Carolina, and Tyler Shuck looks like the real deal. Now, I'm not saying he sucks. I'm not saying the Saints suck. They do have talent. But I wasn't expecting a victory on the road against a Panthers team that beat the Packers. Yes. They beat the Packers the week before. Literally destroyed the Packers defensively. And they couldn't even stop the Saints against a rookie quarterback. This is what I'm talking about, guys. I know that upsets are out there, but the NFL loves parity. Roger Goodell, he's got us beat. He's got games in Europe. He's making money off of that. The NFL is a monopoly, guys. And guys like me, sports bettors, amateurs, professionals, we're just trying to get our share. We're trying to get our share of money. Okay? If you're going to fix these games, it's almost like watching wrestling. Right? It's almost like watching wrestling. And I love wrestling, but it's almost like watching wrestling. It's for entertainment purposes. That's why I love wrestling, because they don't tell you it's real. Okay? They tell you there's a story that's taking place. And by following the story, it makes it exciting to see a guy get in the ring and do all these astronomical backflips. There's stuff that goes on in wrestling that I can't do. And I would never dare to do, even joking around in the backyard or something. But I love wrestling. I love their storylines. But the NFL, what are you putting out there? Do you want the Chiefs to continue their dominance like the Patriots did for 2 decades? Or do you want a different team in the Super Bowl? Do you want a surprise team? Do you want Denver to make the Super Bowl? Seems like they're eking out wins every weekend. Their offense has no clue what they're doing. Last year, they looked better on offense with a rookie quarterback in Bo Nix. This year, the same guy's at quarterback. And I don't know, did he work hard in the offseason? The defense got better, but the offense took a step back. Kansas City's offense got better once they got Rashee Rice back. Now they got weapons. Now they seem healthy on offense. The defense took a back seat a little bit, but they're still hanging in there. Buffalo looked like they were going to be the dominant team by beating Baltimore on opening day. Then Baltimore goes on a 1-5 run, and it's so funny that the odds in Vegas has the Ravens to win this division, regardless of when the Steelers were 4-1 and Baltimore was 1-5. The odds were in Baltimore's favor to win the division. Guess what? They're one game out, and they just might. They got 2 games left for Pittsburgh. If everything goes accordingly, Ravens going to win that division. You see what I'm saying? There's some funny business going on. I mean, how can you explain trading your best defensive player to Green Bay, Micah Parsons? That's an idiot move by an owner. And you know what's even crazier? My own team did the same idiot move in the offseason. You brought in a wide receiver for 150 mil to complement the wide receiver we had, the other playmaker. They could have had the same thing that Dallas had with CeeDee Lamb and George. We would have had George Pickens and DK. You know what kills me is that since the season started, all you hear about is the trade deadline that came and went, and it was all about the Steelers trying to get that other playmaker. Well, you had him. Why didn't you trade him? Now you're looking for a guy to come in and put up numbers to help out DK. I mean, what is going on in the NFL? You have Myles Garrett before the season. I don't want to play with Cleveland. I don't want to play. Trade me. I want to win a Super Bowl before my time's up. Okay, here's 200 mil. Yeah, I'll stay in Cleveland. Yeah, I'm good with Cleveland. I think we could build something here. Give me a break, guys. This is entertainment. It's just about us trying to figure out that storyline that's heading, or that conspiracy theory of the colors of the Super Bowl will tell you what teams are going to be in, or the unplugging of the lights in the Super Bowl. Remember that between the Ravens and 49ers? Ravens are killing the 49ers, but they unplug it. All of a sudden, the 49ers get back in the game. Guys, I don't know what's going on. Or the Falcons Super Bowl in which they're destroying the Patriots. Patriots come back and win that game. Or the Rams with the highest scoring offense in the NFL are held to what, three points, was it? In that Super Bowl against low scoring Patriots, 13-3. What am I watching these days? Well, let's not forget Marshawn Lynch, that debacle with Seattle and the Patriots. It's happening, guys. It's happening in front of you. It's entertaining. I love the NFL. You're never going to get me away from the TV screen. I've been watching the NFL since I was 12 years old. I saw some great teams: Steelers, Niners, Cowboys, Patriots. But now I'm seeing funny business. It's a monopoly, guys. Sports betting's involved. The NBA is going through it. Baseball is going through it. And now the NFL is going to go through it. They already went through a couple of them with Calvin Ridley and Isaiah Rodgers, the cornerback from Minnesota. When he used to be on the Colts, I guess it happened. Calvin Ridley, when he was on the Falcons, which is so funny because there's a video of Calvin Ridley when he was on the Falcons the year that he was alleged sports gambling. Catches a pass. Right there, first down. Runs backwards, gets tackled by the opponent. They lost. I believe they lost that game too. A lot of funny business going on. I'm not trusting what I'm seeing. I just wish that you guys understand where I'm coming from because it's been a strange year. A year in which I know what I'm seeing, trusting my eyes, my gut. I do the homework. I do the analytics. I know there's going to be a couple of clowns out there that say, oh, well, you should have told you Casino Pete doesn't know shit. You should have went with me, paid me, and I would have given you the picks. Bro, seriously. I would never recommend anybody paying me or any sports bettor out there who thinks they could do better than what I'm doing. You don't need to be a professional sports bettor. We're losing out there. Any professional sports bettor that tells me they're winning out there is a liar. A sucker is born every minute, guys. Don't believe the bullshit that comes out their mouths. They're fake rentals. Oh, look at my mansion. Yeah, okay. What friend you have as a real estate agent that allowed you to walk around and film? Fake Lamborghini. Acting like they're billionaires. Driving in a Maserati. Oh, yeah, I'm the man. I'm Vegas. I'm the man. Guys, the league it's I hate to say it, it's not the football I grew up with. There's a lot of young people out there. There's so many gamblers now. Every commercial, BetMGM, DraftKings, FanDuel, all of them, they're bringing you in. They're taking your money. They're changing the lines as the day goes by. Teams that were once favored are now the underdogs. Teams that are going to blow out an underdog team are losing. What the hell was that, Buffalo? And you call yourself a Super Bowl team? Please stay out of it. Stay out of it. You're not going to beat the Eagles. I'm telling you right now. If the Super Bowl was going to get played today, which are the two teams that would be in it? It's kind of a toss-up between the Philadelphia Eagles, the Rams, and the Seattle Seahawks. I think those three teams are capable of getting in there. Detroit is still missing a piece. Trust me on that. They're still missing something. The fact that Dan Campbell took over the play calling just tells me that there's something bad going on in Detroit. In the AFC, I'm still going with Kansas City to get in the Super Bowl. I would hate to be the team that runs into them in the playoffs. But that's just me. I don't think the Ravens got what it takes to make the Super Bowl, let alone win it. Lamar's inconsistent. He's a playmaker, but he's inconsistent. Josh Allen is doing everything he can by himself in Buffalo. But to lose to Miami tells me everything I need to know. New England, they're not even supposed to be a playoff team yet. They were like a year away from that. And here they are, division lead over Buffalo, looking like a real contender. Let's not even talk about Pittsburgh. Let's not even talk about Baltimore. Let's not even talk about Denver and their inconsistencies. Let's not even talk about the Chargers and their injury problems. Kansas City, I could put them in the same category. I mean, of all the teams, yes, Kansas City, but I'm not confident. So the Super Bowl winner will probably come out of the NFC, maybe, right? I could see the Eagles getting back there. I would love to see a rematch between the Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs again. That would be nice, right? I always loved those, even back in the 70s when I had the Cowboys and Steelers. But I'm going to be honest with you. Funny business going on in gambling, funny business going on with the world and the NFL world. I don't like it. Guys, I'm going to end this by saying, and I don't want to ramble on, Men in Black will probably show up. I just want to say this. Be careful with your betting out there. Bet small, seriously. Bet small to win big. Look over your touchdown parlays. Look over what you picked. The NFL is playing funny games. It's a monopoly. They're trying to make money out there with Vegas and all of this sports betting that's going on. Be careful. Try your best to, I try to help you and give you this edge free, but it hasn't been panning out. And I'm doing all the homework, guys. Please don't pay other people for your picks or whatever. That's stupid. I'm giving you this edge for free, but somehow it's not panning out. Guys, funny business going on. Be careful out there as a gambler. Don't lose what you need. Lose what you don't need. All right? I don't know how else to put it, but I'll say this. I wish you the best this weekend in what you're picking. I hope I was helpful. I hope I'm giving you a chance to win out there. It's about us making money, me and you. Guys out there, let's get that money from the sports books and the sports apps. Let's go get it because they're sure making a lot of money on us. So again, hit that like and subscribe button if you like my content. Please leave it in the commentary. Even if it's bad, leave it in the commentary. Even if you think I ramble on too much or my videos are too long, whatever it is, leave it in the commentary. Guys, I want to hear from you. I'm lacking in viewers, and that hurts. That hurts. It seems like no one really wants to listen to what I have to say. But the truth to the matter is, there's some funny business going on around the NFL. And this is the first season that I've noticed it more and more. I was noticing it before in previous seasons. But this year, wow, it's happening right in front of your face. That Mike Vrabel thing, I don't care if you're a Patriots fan. Please do not tell me that was a brilliant move. That is dumb as shit. All right. I've been around football all my life. I played it. No coach does that. That wasn't brilliant. There's something funny going on. The fact that Tony Romo even called him a brilliant coach and said, oh, he's trying not to give the Buccaneers the opportunity to get back on the field with all that time. Bullshit. Get the touchdown. If your defense is good enough, you don't have to worry about that. What is going on that coaches don't have confidence in defenses no more? Well, I don't want to ramble anymore. You know how I feel and how I stand. Anyway, guys, enjoy your weekend. We hope that week 11 is profitable for all of us. Hit that like and subscribe button for the 100th time. Leave your commentary, and I hope to see you soon next weekend. Let's get it this weekend. All right, guys, I'll see you next weekend.